the lopsided affair as far as statistics go, you would have thought Kansas would have won this game by how long that they kept the ball in their offense. Recap TCU's big win over Kansas, man. I still think Kansas is for real. They had the backup quarterback coming in, Jason Bean, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Doesn't look like Jalen Daniels is going to play this week, but Max Dugan. Is he out for the season? Because they were talking about that he might come back.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw in your Discord it said he's out for the season. Give me a second.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I didn't see that update yet, but moving forward, guys.
Jay is expected to miss the rest of the season with a grade 3 separated shoulder.
Oh my goodness, I have shoulder problems right now, man. I mean, it's insane. But shout out to Jason Bean though. They're in good hands with him.
He's nice, bro. He got legs.
He responded that it was news to him. That's what I thought. That's what I thought reading too, that he might be back this week, but they might just start Jason Bean out of like a precaution to let him heal up. So who knows? Just like we're going to get into the Ron Rivera thing, how people like to twist people's words and stuff with that too. But yo, Manny, let's go ahead and get started with you, man. TCU versus Kansas. What was your thoughts? Who impressed you?
Personally, me personally, I'd say Jason Bean. I felt like for a quarterback, that's a backup quarterback, playing against TCU. I mean, they're not a great defense, but they still are a pretty, highly ranked team right now. They're 5-0. They're undefeated. They're 13th in the rankings. He played really well against them, bro. Yeah, I think I don't remember how many touchdowns. Yeah, I know it was high though. It was like around 3 or 4. He had a really good day. I know he threw a pick in the game. I know that, but he got some nice legs, bro. He can run. He got some shifty legs. But I think him. I also like the 83 for Kansas. I think it's Quentin Skinner or something like that.
Yeah, Quentin Skinner. Yep. He had 4 catches, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yep.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns or something like that. He played really, really well. That whole group played really well, actually. I think most of them had a touchdown. So I think this game really showed that it was one of the best games of the week. And to me, that was the best game of the week, personally. Like, I love that game. And nobody watched it because we don't got real types of college football fans out here. We got people who claim to be college football fans.
I'm so glad you said that, because I literally said that during the recap of last week. It was Tuesday. I was like, it's going to be a great game, but nobody's going to watch it because it's not a big-name school like Alabama or Georgia.
I mean, this is good for the Big Ten, though, because you know what? They are making their case that they're more legit than what people are giving them credit for, because now you're having TCU, after they lost Gary Patterson, step up to the plate. They have Kansas, who has always been known as a basketball school.
I picked Kansas in this game.
You did.
You said we're wrong. No.
But hey.
Also, Quentin Johnson went off, bro.
Bro, you literally stole my player.
Both of the Quintons went off, man. Both of the Quintons went off for both teams that are both playing wide receiver. I did just want to say, moving forward, you will see our roll-up records for our picks, through every single week, depending on who's on the show. Me and Sora are actually 5-1 on the season when it comes to podcast picks for college so far.
NFL's a different story.
NFL, I'm trash. But hey,
I'm trying to think who all we've picked. I'm just trying to remember now of games we've recapped.
Okay, so I can go through it. First week was Ohio State versus Notre Dame. All of us picked Ohio State. Texas versus Bama. All of us picked Bama. Mm-hmm. Oregon versus BYU. You and Don picked BYU. I picked Oregon.
BYU and you picked Oregon. Nice save. Sorry.
No, I didn't pick Bama. I picked Texas.
No, you didn't. You picked Bama.
I picked Texas, bro.
Then put them at 3-2.
Yeah.
2-2.
Texas, bro.
Are you sure? Because I went back and watched all the. Sure. I went back and watched all the episodes.
I was tweeting that whole. Yeah, I must have changed my pick because that week I think I picked Bama at the start of the week and then switched it.
This man moved the goalposts.
Hey, if it wasn't on the podcast, it didn't happen.
Right?
The next
Like
week
this
it
thing
was Wake Forest and Clemson. I picked Wake Forest. You picked Clemson. Clemson.
that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, Clemson,
I
NC
completely
State.
forgot about BYU and Oregon. That's what my downfall was.
Yeah, and then it was Clemson, NC State. We both picked Clemson. TCU, Kansas. Me, you, and Vic picked TCU. Slay picked Kansas.
The Jayhawks. They aren't even a real bird.
Yeah, what kind of bird is that? Just look up the history of that, man. It's like absolutely insane, but
it's like, yeah, it's just some random mythical creature.
yeah.
It's like a mix between two creatures. It's like, what kind of like Pokemon fusions is this that they're doing?
I just want to say shout out to the unengaged people out there that come in and say what's up and then don't say anything else. Thank you very much for your participation. But Sor, go ahead and give us your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game. Again, like Slay said, and I was gonna say for my player, shout out to Quentin Johnson, 14 receptions, 206 yards, and a touchdown. The game-winning touchdown, I believe, if I'm still correct. Averaging 14.7 yards. I mean, that dude was absolutely the reason. I don't want to say the reason TCU won, but that dude was a big help in the TCU passing game. And I mean, even the running games helped. You got Max Dugan, 9 carries, 55 yards, a rushing touchdown. He also had 308 passing yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and an interception. So, I mean, TCU, I'm not saying obviously they'll be in the playoffs, but, I mean, TCU looks legit. If this was the year where they did the 8-team or 12-team college football, give me the Horned Frogs in the playoffs, man. It would happen.
I'm just so happy that they are, you know, a lot of those kids were still there for the Gary Patterson. I know Max Dugan was, so it's just good to see that they're keeping up the spirit even when he's there. But shout out to, you know,
it's also just good to see real quick before you start. It's also just good to see they're giving loves to like not the smaller schools, but it's not all like SEC schools. It's not like 5 in the top 10 or whatever. Like,
still, there's no defense that really gets played in the Big 12.
True, absolutely, but still, I mean, shout out to TCU. Go, shout out to the Horned Frogs.
I want to say though, it was probably the best game of the weekend, outside of defense being played, for how balanced that both offenses were. You know, TCU and Kansas, they ran for about 31 rushing attempts for TCU. 38 attempts for Kansas, 33 pass attempts for TCU, and 34 pass attempts for Kansas. So if you're talking about like a well-balanced like offense, then you know you saw that on both sides of the ball, which was really nice. Time of possession, this was kind of interesting. Time of possession, 33 minutes for Kansas, 26 minutes for TCU. But TCU had 21 touchdowns, Kansas had 22. Turnovers, they both had 2 turnovers. Total yards, 452 to Kansas for 540. So if you're talking about the lopsided affair as far as statistics go, you would have thought Kansas would have won this game by how long that they kept the ball in their offense, how much yardage that they got, and they just had,
because they dominated. They dominated in total yards, in passing yards, rushing, and then yards per play.
Mm-hmm.
Same with first downs, third downs, fourth downs. Even penalties, they had the most of They had more penalties than TCU did. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely. And again, going back, looking at the backup quarterback situation, you think once Jaden Daniel goes out, it's like, all right, it's over for Kansas. No, it was still a very good competitive game.
Yep, it was. Shout out to Max Dugan too. He is making. And a lot of people, they're making this Heisman race not as close as what people think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about one of the guys that we believe that we've been mentioning all season that could possibly be your Heisman winner if he plays really good in this game and continues his success after the game.